The 8 principles of self-improvement. You guys obviously seen from the title that I'm gonna be talking about these topics, and so I got a couple of points that I made. I made 8 pillars of self-improvement. I did this in my notes on yesterday when I was walking back home from the gym, and these are things that I've been thinking about. When it comes to self-improvement, there's a lot of advice out here that we might hear, and a lot of us are still learning. And so I think by following these 8 principles, you will always you will always be able to trust the path that you're on. Because a lot of the times I feel like when it comes to the content creators out here in the space of self-improvement, the advice that they give might sound good and they might give you good points, but genuinely, like, they might not even know. They might be leading you down the wrong path. And so I created a list of 8 points or 8 principles that you should always follow when you're on self-improvement. By following these principles, you'll always should be confident enough that you'll be on the right path. I might edit these in the future. These might change, but these are certain things that I think are the overarching, benefits or things to keep in mind that, over all the self-improvement, these are things that should be kept sacred. Sacred. So, principle 1 is delayed gratification. So, we may have heard from all these different self-improvement YouTubers that, delayed gratification is always good. The idea of taking the second marshmallow instead of the first one, cashing out later instead of now. Because whenever we talk about us, the people in the self-improvement community versus people outside in the real world and the regular world, the average man, the thing that the where we differentiate from, the thing that separates us from them, is the fact that we are in it for the delayed gratification and we are in it for the long term. So by always keeping this principle of having always looking for the delayed gratification, taking the second marshmallow, looking for the long term benefits, this is something that overarches all of the things that we do in self-improvement. Whenever we're talking about the stick or twist method from First Man, the concept of the male advantage, and building long-term secure wealth in your business, these are all things that are reliant on the principle of delayed gratification. So I believe this is probably one of the first things that should be mentioned when it comes to these principles. Number 2 is constant improvement in all areas of life. So when it comes to self-improvement, obviously there's the concepts that First Man has created, such as the outlier male, being able to dominate in almost every single aspect of life at a decent level. Not that you have to be the best, but you are seeking to improve in as many areas as you can, specifically the areas that are important in life. Things like your mental health, your physical health, you know what I'm saying? Get in the gym, and your spiritual health as well, and your financial stability. Things such as these sorts are, things that everybody kind of wants to have at once. And I do believe that you can have these things at once. And self-improvement is definitely the way. Religion probably has all these types of things. You'll be able to be secure in yourself when you're able to be dominant over all, fields that really matter in life. Obviously, it comes with its limitations. I can't be good at everything at the same time, but these are generally things in real life that, you want to master throughout your lifetime. 3 is that mediocrity is unacceptable. So like I said and mentioned in the first point of delayed gratification, the thing that separates us from other people is the fact that we're in it for the delayed gratification. And the fact is that we don't want to be the average person. We don't want to be mediocre. Because being mediocre means that you will live the average life of the average man, with the average experiences. And we don't really want that. We're kind of people on the extreme end of things. Right now, I'm 18 years old. I don't have any plans on going to college. And honestly, I'm just making my own path. I'm finding my own path. I'm mastering my own thing. I'm learning and looking into business and looking into improving myself and looking into history. All things that the average 18-year-old might not be doing. I'm looking to create movements, a big movement. Not only just with self-improvement, because, Hamza's already done it. I want to be a part of that, but also with my people in history. This is why I have things like my history channel. It's a little bit personal, but I think you guys get the point. And is that we don't want to be average. We want to be above average. We want to be better than average. So that's the third point, or the third principle. The fourth principle is the student mindset, and is that you can basically learn anything from anyone. Obviously, this does come with its caveats, because you don't, you want to, you want to be humble, but obviously you don't want to learn from the wrong people. You wouldn't learn how to lose weight from a fat person. But there's always lessons that can be learned in different areas, and sometimes you can learn lessons from places where you would least expect it. And so I think this is something worth mentioning. This is a principle worth mentioning. 5, it's gratitude. Just being grateful for your situation, grateful for where you're at in life, and grateful for what you have around you. A lot of the times in self-improvement, we always look at what could be or what we can have in the future, but also it's important to remain grateful for what we do have, for the sake of our own mental health and for the long-term benefits, because we always focus on the future. In a way, it can almost get you to sort of cope and go for the first marshmallow. And honestly, sometimes without not having gratitude can lead you to abandon the first principle that I mentioned, which was about delayed gratification. So gratitude is very important. Principle number 6 is hope. Hope and optimism is something that a lot of the self-improvement YouTube channels that I watch all the time, they're reliant on this self-improvement. First Man mentioned it, Hamza mentioned it as well, and is that their channels are based on hope, because hope is what will keep us, it's what makes us strive, it's what makes us, think, like maybe maybe I shouldn't commit suicide today. Maybe tomorrow might be better. Maybe because, if I put in this work, maybe, if I actually try in this specific area, maybe my life might improve in the future. So hope is something that's very important because it's very fundamental. I know it was a bad explanation, but hopefully, I'll get into it in future videos. 7 is stoicism. This is something I've personally benefited from as well. And it's specifically the idea of focusing on what you can control and sort of being indifferent about the things, or ignoring the things completely that you cannot control. And the reason why is because if you focus on the things that you cannot control, you will always find yourself stressed out and unhappy. But when you focus on what you can control, you're more likely to be happy, fulfilled, and you feel more powerful. And it's a lot easier to, retain hope or keep hope. And then the 8th thing is virtue. Honestly, this is something I don't know very much about, but I remember listening to the Stoic audiobooks and hearing how virtue was probably the most important things to the Peripatetics and to the Stoics. It was understood differently by the different schools, but essentially, it's about trying to be like that perfect ideal man. So these are the 8 principles of self-improvement from me, a young 18-year-old. And if you guys have anything you guys want to add, or if you guys have anything you want to add, let me practice one of these principles. I'm the student, so teach me something in the comment sections.